Imagine a city, brand new, rising from the sands of the Egyptian coast. This is Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, but brought to life by his general, Ptolemy. The year is around 300 years before the Common Era. Ptolemy starts a dynasty, and he has a grand, almost unbelievable vision. He does not just want to build a city of stone and marble, he wants to build a city of the mind. His dream is to create the intellectual capital of the entire world. And at the heart of this dream is a revolutionary institution, the Library of Alexandria. This was not just a room with scrolls. It was the world's first attempt to gather all human knowledge in one single place. The goal was breathtakingly ambitious, to collect every single book ever written. Every Greek play, every Egyptian medical text, every Babylonian astronomical chart, every Persian history, every Indian philosophical treatise. Agents were sent across the known world with vast sums of money to buy or borrow scrolls. It is said that every ship that docked in Alexandria's bustling port was searched. If a scroll was found on board, it was taken to the library, where scribes would copy it meticulously. The copy would be given back to the owner, and the original would be placed in the library's collection. They were building a universal memory for humanity. But the library was more than just a storage facility. It was a living, breathing university, a research institute. The greatest minds of the age were invited to live, work, and study there for free. Think of it as an ancient version of NASA, Oxford University, and Google's headquarters all combined into one breathtaking complex. These scholars were not just preserving knowledge, they were creating it. They debated, they experimented, they questioned everything. In this vibrant environment, a man named Eratosthenes calculated the circumference of the Earth with astonishing accuracy. Another, Aristarchus, proposed that the Earth revolved around the Sun, an idea that would be forgotten for nearly 1,800 years. The Library of Alexandria was a beacon, a testament to the power of human curiosity when it is given a home and a purpose. It was the internet of the ancient world, and it was just getting started. If we could step through the doors of the great library, what would we see? We would not see books on shelves as we know them. Instead, we would find long, organized racks, called armaria, filled with thousands of cylindrical containers. Inside each one was a papyrus scroll, the book of its day. The air would smell of papyrus, ink, and cedar wood from the cases. It is estimated that at its peak, the library held anywhere from 400,000 to 700,000 scrolls. To put that in perspective, that could be the equivalent of over 100,000 modern books, a colossal collection for the ancient world. The contents of these scrolls were a treasure trove of lost human thought. There was the entire collection of the Greek tragedians Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides. We have only a fraction of their works today, the majority, hundreds of plays, were there. There were the historical works of the Babylonians, detailing centuries of celestial observations. There were precise anatomical texts from Greek doctors who had dissected human bodies, knowledge that would be suppressed for centuries later. There were philosophical works from schools of thought that have completely vanished from history. The library did not only focus on Greek knowledge, it was a truly multicultural effort. The Ptolemies also acquired Egyptian texts, and it is believed that the Hebrew Bible was translated into Greek there, in a project known as the Septuagint. This was the true tragedy, not just the loss of known great works, but the loss of entire branches of knowledge we do not even know existed. Imagine a scroll containing a theory of gravity before Newton, or a detailed map of the Americas drawn by a Phoenician sailor, or a place so profound it could redefine our understanding of human emotion. The library was a physical manifestation of the sum total of human exploration, science, and art up to that point. It was a single, fragile thread connecting thousands of years of discovery. And when that thread was cut, the conversation of civilization was silenced for centuries. The popular image is a single, catastrophic inferno that wiped the library out in one night. The truth, as is often the case, is far more complicated and tragic. The decline of the Library of Alexandria was not a sudden death, but a slow, painful fading over centuries, caused by a series of political, religious, and military blows. The first major incident is often linked to Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, during a civil war, Caesar was fighting in Alexandria and found himself in a precarious military situation. To protect his position, he set fire to his own ships in the harbor. The fire, ancient historians report, spread from the docks and burned down a part of the city, destroying a warehouse district where it is believed a large number of scrolls, perhaps 40,000 or more, were stored. This was a devastating blow, but it was not the end of the main library itself. The library, as an institution, began a long period of decline. Funding from the state dried up as Rome took over Egypt. The great scholars slowly stopped coming. The passionate pursuit of knowledge for its own sake was replaced by a more utilitarian approach. Then came the rise of religious fundamentalism. In the year 391 CE, the Christian emperor Theodosius issued a decree outlawing pagan practices. The Serapeum, a magnificent temple seen as a daughter library to the main library, became a target. A Christian mob, encouraged by the local patriarch, destroyed the temple and its contents. This act obliterated one of the last great repositories of classical knowledge in the city. The final death knell likely came with the Arab conquest of Alexandria in the 7th century. While the stories about the caliph ordering the scrolls to be used as fuel for the city's baths are almost certainly later legends, the conquest represented a fundamental shift in power, culture, and priorities. The Great Library, as a concept and a physical entity, was already a ghost of its former self. Its final remnants, whatever was left, were likely scattered, neglected, and left to rot. It did not die in a blaze of glory, but whimpered out of existence through neglect and intolerance. So, what is the real cost? What did humanity lose when the Library of Alexandria faded away? The loss is not just a list of old books we cannot read. It is a gaping hole in our collective memory, a blackout in the middle of the story of civilization. Think of human knowledge as a giant jigsaw puzzle. The burning of the library did not just make the puzzle harder, it threw away entire boxes of pieces, ensuring the picture could never be fully complete. We are left with only the fragments that survived elsewhere, often by pure luck. Consider the sciences. The works of the great Greek scientists like Aristarchus, who said the earth went around the sun, or Hero of Alexandria, who built a working steam engine, were lost. Imagine how different the world might be if that knowledge of heliocentrism and steam power had been continuously built upon instead of being forgotten and having to be rediscovered 1,500 years later. The Dark Ages in Europe might have been avoided. The Industrial Revolution could have happened in Roman times. We lost centuries of potential progress. In literature, we have only 7 plays each from Aeschylus and Sophocles, but we know they wrote over 70 each. Their greatest works, the ones their own contemporaries considered masterpieces, are gone forever. But perhaps the most profound loss is the loss of perspective. The library held the histories and philosophies of countless cultures. It allowed for comparison, for synthesis. Without it, the Western world became more insular, relying on a narrower and narrower set of texts. We lost the voices of our ancestors, their mistakes, their triumphs, and their unique ways of seeing the world. The tragedy of Alexandria is that it forced humanity to start over in many fields. We had to relearn what we already knew. The fire did not just burn paper and papyrus, it burned time itself. The Library of Alexandria is gone, reduced to dust and legend. But its ghost haunts us, and its lesson is more relevant today than ever before. The story of the library is a powerful and permanent warning about the fragility of knowledge. It teaches us that civilization is not a guarantee, it is a delicate project that requires constant, active protection. The assumption that knowledge will always be preserved is a dangerous illusion. The Alexandrian scholars thought their collection was for the ages, but the ages had other plans. In our modern digital world, we are building a new Library of Alexandria. We have the internet, vast server farms, and cloud storage holding more information than the Ptolemies could ever have imagined. We feel that this knowledge is permanent. But is it? Digital data is incredibly fragile. It can be deleted in an instant by a cyber attack, corrupted by a software glitch, or lost through technological obsolescence. The formats we use today may be unreadable in just 50 years. The centralization of knowledge on a few corporate platforms mirrors the physical centralization in Alexandria. It creates a single point of failure. The same forces that destroyed the ancient library, political violence, religious intolerance, neglect, and funding cuts, are still very much alive and threaten our digital world. So, the legacy of Alexandria is not just one of mourning. It is a call to action. It reminds us that we are the guardians of human knowledge now. It is our responsibility to back up our data, to support our libraries and universities, to fight censorship, and to ensure that the most valuable human ideas are preserved in multiple, resilient forms. The fire of Alexandria was a tragedy of lost potential. We must learn from it. We must ensure that our modern beacon of knowledge does not fade, but continues to shine, brighter and more dispersed than ever before, so that no single spark can ever darken the human mind again.